Hi, hey, hello, and welcome to Power Word Play, a Dungeons & Dragons live stream where a bunch of random adventurers must protect the Sword's Coast from the wrath of Tiamat. My name's Josiah Groff, I'm your Dungeon Master, and let's get into tonight's episode.
Lady Tiamat whispers, her children fly north. No virtue will stop them. Send the sins forth.
And welcome back. Alright, let's do our roll for recap. Tonight it'll be Hyas who is giving our little recap of last episode. Let's see.
Oh my.
Okay.
Elias, what do we got today?
15.
Sola. 1. Oh,
Nat 1.
lucky for you.
Also 15.
Oh, Eon.
8.
8?
Oh, but I did it last time.
You did
it
last
time.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my gosh.
I guess it's Elias.
It's back and forth and back and forth. Okay.
It's fitting though.
It is fitting. Well, that is a big weight off of my chest, finally. Everyone knows. I suppose it feels a little bit better. Oh, but they know so much about me now. Ugh. But I did join their party, and I did hope that they could help me in some way or another, so I suppose it was only a matter of time. I'll maybe be able to find out some more about the Blight, and cure this for me, for Casper. Hopefully it won't pass on to anyone else. And, well, Silvery Moon itself is in a mess, as it is as well. Everyone seems to be sick with something. Just when we finish one thing threatening the countryside, another comes into its place, and everything is always a mess. Well, at least Cholth is out of the way for the most part. And well, now we just have to figure out the orcs and the dream plague and whatever is killing me, and I'm sure so many other things. But at least we have some time now. Oh, I'm excited to go to the library. I need to do some research on all of this. We've learned so much now. No, the king will have to let us in. We did kill the dragon for him. So much knowledge. It'll be lovely, wonderful. Well, no time to waste. Lots of things to do.
Alright. Thank you, Elias. Take your point of inspiration.
Why, thank you.
You're welcome, you're welcome.
I just want to read some books.
I just want books.
Oh,
Yes.
More wagons, just books about wagons.
Yeah.
So let's jump back in. Sins. Have we had a long rest?
Have we?
Yeah.
Looks like it.
Yeah. Yep.
Looks like it.
Because
Perfect.
you did something and we have a bunch of temporary hit points.
Okay.
That was the session before.
Yeah, so now we're...
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, because I used up all my temporary hit points
they
already.
do not last that long. That's why they're called temporary. So, everyone, you wake up in the morning. The sound of birds chirping in the trees near the outside of Casper's bar. There isn't much sound coming from the apartment, as it appears that Casper hasn't woken yet, but sunlight is starting to kind of peek in through the draped blinds, and you all feel rested and ready for the day in front of you.
Sola comes in to the room where everyone is sleeping and is banging pots and pans together. Hi, hey, hello. Hi, hey, hello. Time to wake up, everyone. Here is your breakfast.
Ramsey grabs a pillow and just hucks it in the general direction as the noise.
Oh,
Sola dodges.
It still hits you. You don't move too quick.
Luckily, it misses the pans. I think.
Oh, God. I love you, Sola, but... Oh, it hurts.
We have a lot of things to do today. There's no
Oh.
time to sleep in. Plus, as usual, I've made breakfast.
Oh,
And yes, it is egg.
well,
And some other stuff.
it's come to be a staple now.
where did you find egg?
Good question. Where did I find those?
I've learned it's better to never question a gnome's resourcefulness when it comes to food.
How long have you had those eggs on you, Sola?
They were refrigerated. I won't tell you how. But and I've got some meat from the goose that was cooking last night.
That's true.
Out in the square.
Yes.
I went and gathered us a few pieces. Gormier and his men were happy to share. And so, yeah, here you guys go. Eat up.
Coffee.
Well,
Coffee first. Thank you, Sola. Thank you.
I appreciate the food.
So, as I said, while we eat, we have much to do today. We have a king to meet. We have dragon lairs that we haven't been to. We have a library to go to as well. I know you're excited about that one.
Oh, what gave it away?
The smarts.
Yes, they tend to do that.
So,
Well.
yeah.
That does sound exciting. I'm interested. I don't know. Have we ever been to a library? I don't think we've ever been
Is
to
that
a
even a
library.
question? Have you ever been to a library?
I don't think we've.
No,
Not officially.
I've read
No.
books. I've been in a bookstore.
you've got kicked out of a bookstore.
That too. Yeah. Have you been? You've been to a library.
Well, once or twice, yes.
Have you been to a library?
Well, I mean, the university at Two Hills had a library. I passed through it.
Oh,
Art history, remember.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of picture books.
The picture section.
Yeah. Yeah, books about pictures. That's that kind of picture book.
They count. They count. They have pages. They are held together with the stuff on the outside of a book, whatever that's called.
Binding.
Yeah. I'm feeling a book. Feeling a book.
Doesn't
in my
look like
hands.
that.
Definitely feeling.
This is how I held the book. Anyway,
Oh. Okay. Well, I've never been to a library, but I'm so interested for you to show me how to hold books at a library.
Well, it's like a bookstore, except you don't get to keep them.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, this is going to be fun.
Well, that's very exciting anyway. I think that's very, very, very cool. And now we are fully not sleeping.
you're
We
welcome.
will do that.
Yes.
Sure are.
I think our first action should be maybe to go see the king, as we were told before that it's not very cheap, shall we say, to go get into this library, so maybe we can get a little royal authentication and
Maybe.
be able to either reduce the price or forgo it altogether.
That'd be great.
And do you guys also think we ought to go look for those other layers?
I don't
Is
think
that-
it would hurt, honestly. It's
There might be some gold and treasures and
well, even if it's, there might just be some things there that the people of Silvery Moon would like back, or to know of possible relatives, keepsakes, anything like. Why am I being so sentimental? What did you put in the food, Sola?
Love.
Well, that'll do it. But yes, I think we should try and accomplish all three before we leave at least. The benefit of the layers is no one really seems to know where they are. Except one other person, and, well, if they haven't taken everything by now, I don't think they're going to. So...
Do you think the king has maybe heard anything about Waterdeep? We left it in a precarious situation.
It's worth an ask. He was there just before, so... I know that he managed to make it out of the city before all hells broke loose.
Right. We can ask if he has any news.
Or if he knew what that damned creature was.
Right.
So much to do.
Yes.
Sounds like a plan.
I would like to revisit the whole cursed blood issue with you and see what we can find in this library. I believe if it's been running for that long through your family, there has to be something documented somewhere of even a theory on where its beginnings come from.
I fully intend on seeing what we can find if we're able to gain access. Well, I even have a list of things for us to look at.
Splendid.
I also have a list.
Really? Sola, you made a list.
You know, I think that it's time for me to tap into my academic side that I didn't tap into when I went to school the first time.
Definitely always better to do it afterwards. I'm sure that's much more useful.
Well, and this time someone else is going to do it for me. So, even better.
That's true.
That is true. Well, they would have also done that for you when you were during your studies.
Well, Sola was slightly preoccupied with other things there. So, you know what? I encourage your quest for knowledge. So, shall we finish our business here and make our way to the king?
Sounds like a plan to me.
See? Coffee. Coffee.
Coming up.
You hear the sound of Casper's door opening as he walks out in kind of loosely draped on clothes. You get the idea that this must be their day off, as they haven't really gotten ready for the morning downstairs, but you do hear the sound of people getting ready. Dull thumps as tables are set up and chairs are moved around.
Oh, that's so loud. Oh.
Good morning.
Good morning, Casper.
It's so
Sorry
early.
for the rude awakening over here.
Yep,
Oh, could that be heard outside of our room?
a little bit.
Well, you're welcome to share in the breakfast. Some of this came from your fridge, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sure. Starts going to town.
Casper will be out of your hair soon enough.
That's okay.
Compliments to the chef, I guess.
Exactly.
You are a very good cook.
Good egg.
Very good egg.
Ha! Ha ha! I see what you did there. Clever.
Do we just,
That's,
is there a
yes.
castle? Is there a magistrate? What would
Who should we go speak to
Where do you
in
find
order
a
to
king?
see the king? I know it was mentioned, I believe, by Gormia that we are somewhat expected, but...
Oh. Well, maybe we just go up and say who we are, and they'll be like, oh yeah, come on in.
In question, do we have to cross that bridge?
Maybe we'll cross that
Yes,
bridge when we come to
We
it.
do.
Do we have to, though, is my question.
There's no other way across to the North Bank, unfortunately. Or fortunately, perhaps.
You could just you could teleport across if you're scared.
No, well, I could, but that ain't... maybe, I don't know.
I think we can
can
handle
walk
it,
it.
though. I think
We'll figure it out.
It's a good bridge. It's been there for a long time.
And that's what frightened me. It's not the fact that it's a bridge, it's the fact of that it's... Why so very high?
Well, it looks nice. It looks like the moon.
Mm-hmm.
They call it the moon bridge for a reason.
And it's between two banks.
Yes.
No, so
North and
I'm
South
not gonna
Bank.
let that one go. She-
don't bring that up to the king, please.
I think you should.
I'm considering it.
Oh no.
Well, shall we then?
I got nothing. She's gonna do it.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah,
let me
okay.
just deal with it.
It's
I'll
sit
just-
back, watch the chaos,
Yeah.
enjoy the show.
Elias, does anybody else know about your affliction?
Well, it's not unspoken secret within Silvery Moon. I mean, it's not that we've hidden it so much. We just don't really talk about it. It's more, the black sheep of the city.
A don't ask, don't tell kind of situation.
For the most part.
It's funny how that goes with blood curses.
Yes. So, well, our family, we're known for the blight, but the extent that the rest of the city and its citizens know of the details, well, that's not much. They know we don't live long. And usually don't die in very nice ways either.
Well, let's see if we can do anything about that.
Yeah, let's work on making you the exception.
That would be quite nice. Gosh, before we all head out, well, Eon, can I speak to you for a moment? Actually, that reminded me of something.
Yeah. Okay.
It's nothing weird, I promise.
Okay.
Well,
Like, just you're gonna just.
yeah, like
Oh, we're.
bring you to the side.
Okay.
Come on, Sola, let's pack our things.
Okay.
I thought it was a little bit weird that you asked to talk to me when we were already talking.
Well, yeah, I'm not good at this usually, the talking thing. But, well, I know that blood is important to you. For whatever reasons. I have my own reasons. I'm sure you have yours. And, well, I wanted to, as a gesture of good faith, as you've all welcomed me into your party. Well, it seems that you have blood of everyone else in the group.
Go on.
And I, perhaps against my better judgment, wanted to offer you some of mine after you've asked. Not a lot. I bleed a lot if I'm cut, but... you know.
Sure, I don't need. Thank you. I would accept this gesture of friendship.
Lovely. I appreciate that. So how does this work? Do I just...
I don't know. No one's ever offered it to me before.
Wait, so how have you
No,
gotten...
that's not. I've got a syringe.
Okay, that's a clean,
Just,
hygienic way to do it. It's
I mean,
not been used
it-
before.
It has.
Oh.
Wow. So, alternatively, they might be like if they see that I start cutting your skin or something, like they might be like a little. It's a bit of a. It's been a bit of a thing. So, you could cut your hand. I'll just take it. You could do that.
Okay. I think I like that option more than the used syringe.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We're gonna put more in it for Ramsey. Kind of save it for Ramsey. And
Don't
you
save
probably
it.
don't wanna-
Get rid of it. What are you...
Oh. Sure. But
But yes,
Yeah.
the hand option I think is probably
you know,
best.
Sola, screen, clean napkin.
All right. How much do you need?
Like very little.
Very little. Okay, we'll do a little.
Or like as much as you want to give me.
Ewan, I'm curious, before I give you my blood, I'm curious, what purpose do you keep the blood for? What do you use it for?
Well, blood is pretty powerful. And it helps me keep the people I care about safe and to know where they are and make sure that they don't do anything they shouldn't be doing. And also I kind of just like keeping the pieces. I recently found out that that's some other time. So I kind of just like them.
Okay. I will definitely be asking you about what you mean later.
It's just... Take a deep breath. It's not that weird. I
I've
promise.
seen a lot of weird things.
It's not that weird. I was just kind of like born out of a piece of a soul of a creature that was obsessed with obsession. And for some reason, the way it stacked out is I like blood.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Good.
What was this creature? I'm intrigued.
She's a god.
Is it Everlove or?
That's the Everlove. Yeah. And I kind of wish that I wasn't. Because it's different than most people. But as a result, I can do magic with blood, and I really like to. And maybe I can look at yours a little.
Well, as far as obsessions go, I think blood is a good one. It's a more interesting one.
We all need it.
That we do. It's so true.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I trust you with this. And I haven't done anything terrible with anyone else's blood, I presume. So.
Like, none of my friends. None of theirs. None of their blood.
So are we friends then, Eon?
Yep.
Okay, good. Alright. And I'll take out a little dagger and just do a little slit on the finger. Just for a couple of drops of... Squeeze out a few drops of blood onto
Cool.
the napkin.
Elias, make a medicine check.
Ooh. You were waiting with that one.
No.
That is a dirty 20.
Woohoo!
You only take 3 points of piercing damage.
Motherfucker.
Oh.
As the tiny little slit in your finger becomes a stream, filling up the flask much quicker than anyone else's has.
It's just a cloth.
Oh, the cloth, right.
Just like cloth.
It becomes soaking wet real quick.
Oh, I should get a bandage for that. That was a little bit... Oh, I didn't think it was that deep. Well, that should surely be enough for you. Well, I'm very bloody right now.
You need more iron in your diet. I can smell it from here.
Ramsey, you know... Oh.
I'm pretty sure I heard the word bandage.
Yes, you're right. Well, thank you, Eon. I don't know why I'm saying thank you to you, but...
You're welcome.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, so where's that bandage?
Oh, hi, hello, pretty.
I just look at you.
Sola can
You got
do a
another
thing
one, didn't
now.
She can use your action.
I'm gonna use it! So Sola can now use a med kit to as an action, and you get to roll one of your hit die.
Oh, nice!
Yeah.
And I also add a +4 to it.
Oh, what?
That's kind of neat.
So,
Okay.
yeah. It was relevant.
It's
awesome.
Wow.
I was like, I'm never going to use this.
Okay.
And then I used it within like the first 20 minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Nice.
The tiny heels, they
Band-Aid brigade.
Band-Aid
Yeah.
brigade.
Get
Okay.
to use hit die without having an actual short rest.
Awesome.
So,
That's pretty nice. What did you add onto it?
+4. And, one of your hit die and a +4. And you know you only took whatever.
So you're good. You're
Yeah.
at full health
Yeah,
regardless.
because we
Awesome.
had a long rest also. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That Solo's putting Hello Kitty band-aids on you.
No.
Aw.
That should be
Because that's what I imagine Solo has in like the like it's just bright shiny kids.
contained bandages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right. Your tummies are full. Your minds are focused on the task at hand today. Where are we heading to first? Elias, I'll let you know that there are the most likely place for you to find the upper, King Melandrach, would be at the High Palace, which is on the north bank on the eastern side. It is behind the Star Courts, which are essentially like the legal courts and like immigration services for anyone joining into Silvery Moon as a citizen. But you know the way there and can follow the track back pretty easily.
Alright. Well, if we're going to find the king, the palace is the best place to look. Can't imagine he would be anywhere else right now. And, well, Ramsey, that is in the North Bank, so we will have to cross
Yes, the bridge. I understand. You have that look.
What?
The look of, I just had a social interaction and I'm not sure how to deal with it.
That's the one.
Yes. I've started to learn the eonisms. Yes, that's one. What did you get?
A friend.
Rhaenyra looks at you and squints. And
I don't know. This is new for me. And I just walk forward.
You know, she really is kind of broadening her horizons. It's quite impressive.
yes, she might. Well, no, she'll never be good with people.
No, never.
That's fine.
That's what makes Eon.
Very true. Oh, God, she's getting pretty far away. We better catch up.
That's good.
Alright. You guys, I say, over next little bit, probably half an hour or so, takes you to walk from the last drop over to the High Palace. And as you are doing so, you kind of walk through the Star Courts, which are these large buildings with kind of these stone pillars on the outside and kind of nicely set up shrubbery along the pathway. That's all been very well maintained. Statues of famous elven leaders, as well as what looks like to be a human woman that you can see many different, we'll say, art pieces that kind of depict her features. This very lean-looking face that's almost elvish but not quite. That has this sort of etherealness to it, almost in the kind of uncanny valley way of this person is meant to be too pretty, or maybe it's just artist, rendition. You're not entirely sure.
Who's that statue of? That doesn't seem like an elf. Almost, but not quite.
Can everybody roll a history check?
Yes.
Oh,
No.
don't think I will.
Well, they both suck, but it's a funny number.
That's all that matters.
All right.
That's
Okay.
how we truly win at D&D.
Yeah.
Yep, funny number.
Ice.
10.
10.
Yeah.
9.
Can we get an 8?
15.
Oh.
15. Right.
11.
I got the highest history check.
Sorry, no. That's a lie. I can't do math. 50.
You both got 15s.
Yep.
Nice. That's hilarious.
Wow.
I've never even been to a library, and
When you're-
I have good
When you're-
history.
This first one.
Okay. This, I'll say for the two of you, it takes a little bit, but then eventually you see a statue of her wearing these kind of like blue, kind of tinted robes. Like they have like been painted on, but it's very, very nicely and very thin, almost like it's been just colored. And her staff, you can see it depicts like this horse with a horn coming from it, and you see this kind of like long, curly, dark and gray hair. And something about her reminds you of the current Lord of Waterdeep, Lady Silverhand. And both of you realize, as soon as you see the label of the Lady of Hope, that this statue is depicting another of the chosen of Mystra, of the Seven Sisters. This is Illustrial Silverhand, and one of the founders of Silver Moon.
Illustria?
Illustrial.
It's odd. It looks like the Silver Hand, but sibling maybe?
Maybe
I
they all just kind of look that way when they get older.
Maybe. As I go up and kind of eyeing it over, I look down and I see the placard and just start come back. It is, it's Illustrial Silverhand. It's a sister of the current Silverhand of Waterdeep. I knew I remembered it somewhere.
Is she still around?
Not a clue.
Oh, okay.
From my understanding, though, she was one of the people involved with creating Silvery Moon.
Oh, well, I was never really one for the history of the city, but, I mean, obviously she had a very important hand in this. A silver hand in this. Oh.
Especially since she's not an elf.
That's why I thought it was so
What is she?
weird.
What is she?
A human.
She's a human.
She's a human founded Silvery Moon? Or helped found Silvery Moon?
Well, it's not just elves that live in Silvery Moon.
No, but I mean, like, there seem to be a lot of elves here.
More than any other place, sure.
I just
But I'd
assumed
say,
the
yeah.
rest were expats.
Wow.
Maybe not quite. Maybe not quite.
Okay.
That would be a good assumption, though, for Eon to have. Yeah, I like that.
Yes, from my understanding, there was 7 siblings that ventured forth and were responsible for helping establish most of the civilized colonies on the continent.
Were they, like, religious?
Make a religion check.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know, all of you make a religion check.
All of
Everyone's
us?
looking at it.
Wow.
That's fun. Why not? Get involved, roll some dice.
What's the difference between religion and magic?
You know,
Oh.
16.
29. With a natural 20.
There we go.
Elias being super religious up in here.
That's really strange.
Don't know history, but fuck, I know religion.
Now on.
Yeah.
Eon,
18.
Ramsey.
16.
All right. Actually, Elias would know a lot about this, and ironically, as
other stuff, fuck
Mystra the goddess of magic, would be one that would be significantly worshipped in Silvery Moon, especially in the Conclave. There's a temple to her as well as the elven god Odith, you are aware of. And yeah, I'd say like the sisters themselves weren't treated as godly figures, more so like powerful individuals with a lot of wisdom and strength. So they used, or this lady in particular, Lady Elestrial, was very well liked by the people of Silvery Moon while she was there.
Well, that's
Never
a really
worshipped.
good question, Eon. There's quite a lot of debate in that field, really. I mean, what makes religion? What is a god?
Oh,
What is belief?
No. Oh, God, here we go.
But, I mean, they were not deities or gods in their own right. They were powerful, but, well, gods are powerful.
So they just went around forming cities and didn't have a reason to do it other than, hey, buildings should go here. Good reason.
Well,
Alright.
You staked your claim.
Okay, but that's different.
How so?
Because that was mine.
Ah, I see.
Clearly.
powerful beings like to amass more power. What more reason is there than that?
Fair enough.
As you all are walking and having this conversation, the way up to the High Palace is very busy. You can see diplomats from other cities dressed in kind of attire that would notify them as not really Silvery Moon. Big colors and heavy fabrics that are weighing people down in the forest here, as well as guards. Lots and lots of guards. Seems to be like military movement moving around. You can see people doing warm-up exercises, as well as a few different animals on the move. You can see horses, and then you can't see exactly what it is, but inside a large crate on top of a cart, you can hear the sound of some sort of creature moving around. It's kind of like a box, kind of like a wooden box. With these kind of metal brackets all around it to kind of keep it in. You see that being moved across the city. And within a little bit of time, I'll say you get up to the High Palace. Not many kind of look in your direction, or if they have, you kind of give the badge, which works for the most part. I also believe that King Melandrach gave you guys a letter, say, or something like that.
If only someone had taken notes back then.
Oh, I don't specifically remember that, but that's totally possible.
I went through all my notes earlier and I did not have anything about a letter.
I feel like you would have that if you.
I'm pretty sure I remember that. I don't actually, but I think.
Okay.
Say we do.
Yeah.
No, I remember
That
something
makes
along
sense.
those.
I
It's when we
probably
met him
write
at
it
the
down.
ball.
Yes, you met him. Yeah. And he kind of said, "Well, if you're gonna help, come help." There you
Yeah.
go. So either way, regardless, you guys are known figures to the guards here, and are kind of guided into the High Palace, which in true Elvish architecture is like very simple but grand. Large entryways, huge columns, high ceilings, beautiful stained glass windows. Not a speck of dust to be found, not a offensive smell in your nostril, and just pleasant harp strings fluttering through your ears as you walk into the High Palace.
On our way in, was it just Silvery Moon guards, or were there from other areas?
For the most part, just Silvery.
Okay.
You maybe would notice a few members of the Emerald Enclave
Okay.
as well.
I was just more seeing if like people had been coming from like Waterdeep or anywhere else
Correct.
to here.
Yeah.
So, well, give your people one thing, Elias. They certainly know how to put on the show.
Yes, when I moved to Waterdeep first, I was really quite underwhelmed. They don't have the music all the time. The harps are like the best part.
Let's agree to disagree. Well,
As you guys are walking in, can you all make a perception check?
Yes, sir.
Without.
18.
18.
I'm staring at stained glass window.
14.
19.
19.
Yeah.
Okay. Inside this building is pretty crowded. At the back wall, there's kind of a buffet set up for refreshments, and people are coming and going from there. But what catches your eye, Elias, is near the kind of entrance, you can see a young elvish man, probably around, kind of hard to say, we'll say like adolescence. With the way elves age is kind of funny, but you would consider him definitely your junior, someone who's looking a little inexperienced, wearing very clean, polished armor, the kind you see squires wearing all the time. And you just see him, he's holding a sign that just says, for Elias. And he's just kind of like looking around unsuredly. And this person you recognize. This is Gormir's squire. Drydas.
Nice.
Wait, what was his name?
Drydas.
Drydas? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Drydas is a new squire for Gormir, and you don't really know much about him. The few interactions you've had with him have been awkward, and like you both don't really know what to say to each other.
Mm-hmm.
But he sees you and he just kind of looks and, oh, hello, Elias. He folds up the thing.
Drydas! Drydas!
Great to see
Yes,
you
that's
again.
what I was saying. It's... Yeah. Yes, lovely
No?
to see...
Okay, alright.
Okay, yeah.
Next time.
You...
So Gormir has asked me to guide you. There's a meeting taking place.
Oh, well, that's quite nice of him. We were just gonna show up.
He
This
also
is,
Close personal friend of yours.
Gormir's squire.
decided to give me something to
yes.
do. And this is,
He really
less
keeps
dangerous.
You, oh, yes, he really keeps you busy, doesn't he?
You look at his hands and you can see they're covered with small cuts and scars and bandages. More so than just someone who is training. You're definitely getting the idea as he kind of turns around and kind of walks forward. There's a little jump up in the step and he slips a little bit. And this is a clumsy man. Maybe not the most suited for squiredom, but trying his hardest.
Yeah. Gormir has always been very forgiving with him.
I wonder why.
Drydas guides you all up a grand staircase, probably 10 feet wide, with these gold handles across the side that lead all the way up. And you find yourselves at the top looking at through this doorway to a large circular table where in front you can see 3 individuals having a conversation. One of them you're familiar with, King Melandrach, is standing in the middle of these figures, discussing and talking. He looks relatively calm but focused. There's a bit of maybe tension in between his eyebrows as he's kind of trying to understand or listen. The second figure, Elias, you would recognize as Eltro Mirisk. Eltro is the Magus Senior of the Conclave of Silvery.
Eltro, sorry?
Eltro Mirisk. And as soon as you see his bald, elvish face, his deep voice kind of enters into your head, and you hear him say his favorite catch line. A novice with mastery of Unseen Servant is worth 6 fireball hurlers or more. Which was a phrase you actually had to write down on one of his exams to get points. But this man, the instructor of the School of Conjuration, is buff. He is very large, very muscly. Does not fit with your standard wizard interpretation. Kind of like a Vin Diesel wizard, if you will. Put that in your head. And the third person, you've never seen before, but in person, but you recognize them instantly. This is Methrammer Erosum, a tall, tan-skinned elf, wearing this beautiful set of mithril armor. He has a brutal-looking sword strapped around his waist, and what you can see is a large bow around his back. He looks like a fighter. Can I get everyone to make an insight check as well? Nice.
Another 19.
Ooh, okay. So 11. Ian?
14.
Okay. Right.
16.
Elias!
I just know everything.
Just know everything, I guess.
What
Not
can I
bad.
say?
You are from here. That's fair.
I would hope so.
Elias and Ramsey, actually. This kind of makes some sense. Methrammer looks a little bit familiar, and then you think back to 20 minutes ago when you passed by that statue, and his hair with the curls, and he looks a little familiar. I'd say you two would probably guess that he is potentially the son of Illustrial. Elias, I think with your knowledge of the city, you would definitely know that.
Okay.
King Melandrach turns to you all as you enter in and goes, "Hello, Sins. It's good to see you again. How has your hunt occurred? Were you successful in your mission?"
I go in the bag of holding, pull out what's left of the green dragon egg and just onto the table. You could say yes.
Methrammer kind of looks at that and is like, "Did you get both of them?"
No, we got all 3. That's what's left of the one that was being hatched.
Wait a minute, you guys knew there were 2?
Methrammer kind of looks to you and he goes, "I had an assumption. However, I had no way to really check. While you were out, I was able to investigate through a few different areas of the forest quickly. Most dragons don't have that many layers."
Balls.
And you can see him turn, and there's like a bit of bandaging on his side. It's also where I found our orcish problem, but that may be something for Silvery Moon to deal. And Melandrach kind of nods. He goes, "Indeed. Since I have received word from Waterdeep that there's to be another meeting occurring. This one will be occurring in 25 days.
Boy, you guys have a lot of meetings, hey?
It's all a council person's life is.
Could have been ascending. Am I right?
Well, and Eltra goes, no, she's on to something.
Right? It's a useful spell.
It's a waste of time. We don't need to be in person to speak. A sending spell would do great. And King Melandrach just kind of like rubs his head and goes, yes, I understand. It would be convenient. However, this is not the life we live, so we will communicate with everyone. We will plan together.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but Mithrama, you said you had encountered orcish issues. In your travels throughout the forest, perchance did you come across any members of the dynasty?
His face kind of looks at you with this bit of confusion and goes, the dynasty, no?
Interesting. I just figured with being so close to the border and all the activity, there might be some crossing over, and we don't really know where.
Judging from the orcs' tracks, it would appear they may be coming from dynasty areas, which wouldn't be unheard of. From my understanding, they had taken up roots along the mountains in the east. However, it would appear that something has changed, or their movement to other areas. It's hard to know what they intend to be doing.
I think we should be forthcoming. When we defeated that dragon, we found some information, actually, that the dynasty had been trying to work with the dragons, and we found this scroll, actually.
Well, what we witnessed.
Well, that as well, yes, but, I have some proof, not just our word.
Well.
Melandrach grabs the note and kind of reads through it. This is important to know. We have scholars looking into these members of Tempest that have created such havoc along the countryside. From my understanding, it would appear that each one had put around an area of influence with these dragons. This confirms some of those theories. But there's others that now have become more confused. He curls up the scroll before passing it back to you.
Luckily, no need to worry about these dragons anymore, I guess, so...
Methrammer nods. Yes. And likely in great timing. So with the hordes appearing, we don't have a lot of resources to spend. Although with Chulf defeated, we can potentially reach out to Cormier and see if they can lend aid.
Well, then what I've known of orcs, take out their leader. They become chaotic and far less imposing.
Methrammer nods and goes, oh, trust me, he is in my sights. King Melandrach kind of looks to the table where they have like a map of Silvery Moon set up, as well as the surrounding areas, where you can see there's like little guardsmen they have for patrols, and you can see they're setting up areas of defense around the forest. And with your information, you can see them kind of confirming one of the maps with lurkwoods and like setting up defenses through there.
I'm slowly just trying to move them around on the board like I'm playing with them.
Eltro slaps your hand, which is heavy hand.
Sorry, this is immaculate craftsmanship.
Thank you. Melandrach kind of looks to you all and goes, Silvery Moon thanks you for your help. And you have found strong allies in the Knights of Silver.
Oh, that's lovely and all, but we were hoping to find more of a physical, shall we say, not accommodation, but what's the word I'm looking for?
A reward.
Yes, that's it.
King Melandrach kind of nods, and Methramer, you can see him sigh and kind of lower his head a little bit. But the king goes, if it isn't within my resources to give it to you, I shall.
Well, I believe it may be fairly simple, actually. We need access to your library. And we'd prefer not to pay the upfront cost to access informations through it.
King Melandrach nods and goes, at the very least, that can be accomplished.
Splendid.
And he turns to Eltro and just kind of has this look of seriousness where he goes, and they will be speaking to the senior archivist. And Eltro kind of like looks at him and goes, if you say.
Oh.
Is this senior archivist someone who is more senior at the library?
One could say. They are a bit of a unique member of our staff. And Eltro kind of looks and goes, yes, the story goes that centuries ago they came to Silvery Moon and decided to make our library a part of their web. A connection of libraries, they said.
Oh.
That was an interesting choice of words.
It's like a consortium of sorts.
Correct. However, it's not someone you speak to often.
A real people person, I'm guessing.
Yes, but they should be reachable with the blessing of the king. And Melandrach nods. Goes, you have my signature, my writ, and that should be enough for audience. Our contract, as I have understood it, gives you each 5 minutes to discuss a question of yours.
Oh.
However, the archivist is known to be stingy around information, especially the more dangerous. So, she may ask things of you as well.
Oh. Well, it wouldn't be the first time. We've had to surrender information. Oh. This is all very intriguing. Now, sorry again, Mithram, but while you were at these other layer sites, would you say there's anything of monetary value that may have been left behind, or you kind of acquiesced the majority of materials from there?
I have labeled the layers that I found.
Oh.
And hopefully we'll be able to recover the lost goods of Silvery Moon.
Just looking at Sola and she just nods. Balls. Splendid. You know what? If we have time, we may head out there and ensure the safety of said materials.
He nods and goes, don't worry. I was once an adventurer myself. He takes out a large satchel, and plops it down on the table. Inside is many platinum pieces. Many.
Ooh. That's a lot of shiny.
If we were to accept this gift, perhaps we could allow you to claim the rest of the dragon hoard? Is that the arrangement we're making?
You know what? It seems like it's, on second thought, when we were discussing it, and from what Vinrock said, it's kind of a distance out of the way. I'm sore. Elias is always tired.
Yes, I am.
He's a
Eon,
complainer.
yeah, slightly, but
My
we
back
appreciate
is
you.
sore. I just can't.
Yes, we never brought that goose. It's
It's very awkward.
maybe it's better. As I'm saying, I'm just slowly dragging the bag over it. Maybe it's just better that we just forgo it this time, and into the bag of holding it goes.
Mithramer nods and goes, "Good choice." 10,000 gold pieces in that. Enough for 2,000 each.
Cool.
Guess you guys can take it.
Are we taking it ourselves?
Sounds like we're doing that.
Sure.
Yep.
We'll divide it up later.
Yeah.
I'm taking it now.
That's what
I already
Yeah,
divided
I've
it up.
already
Yeah.
divided.
Just saying.
Can someone make a note so Rhaenyra adds 2k? Thank you. Okay. Is there anything else you guys want to ask the three here?
So just to be clear, we're talking to this senior archivist guy. Is it senior or senor?
I think it's senior. As in
Well-
head of the establishment.
She
Oh, she.
is known as the Keeper of Secrets.
Oh, keeper of secrets. Wow.
And within our library, she has the title of Senior Archivist. However, I feel as though our organizational structure is of little care to her.
Okay. But you figure we get 5 minutes? Is there like a timer? Is her time like partitioned out very precisely?
He nods, and Ertos goes, "Once she came and added our library to her collection, it came with the deal that we could ask her questions, given the king's consent. This is the deal that she has arrived to. No guarantee that she'll answer the questions, but enough to lend an ear, I suppose."
Well,
And just to be sure as well, I think I heard you say something about one question. Is it more just like it's not just one, you get the whole 5 minutes or whatever?
I don't.
Yes. However, you do get the 5 minutes. However, one question is usually all you get to ask. With the time she takes.
That sounds like a challenge, Sola.
Yeah, well, I had a whole bunch of things I was going to look up.
Well, I think we can still look up information. I think this is more if we have a dire question.
Oh, so we could still use the regular library, right? Yeah.
Of course, yes.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. I mean, that's a pretty good deal.
Doesn't
Wow.
suck.
Okay, cool. Thank you for the clarifications.
I also take the dragon egg off the table and put it back into the bag. I know of someone who would be very interested in this. Well, then, since we have anything else,
Yeah, I guess that kind of sounds like our business is concluded. Right?
Right. King Melandrach nods. But before you leave, he says, let me know when you have finished your duties in the city. There will likely be other places that require aid when you are finished, and we do have a means to transport you places quickly.
Splendid. Well then, shall we be off? Oh, yes, sorry. Any word on activities in Waterdeep? When we left, it was somewhat dire states, so...
They are in recovery.
Have the wards been repaired?
That I do not know. I have heard there is talk among their elites of filling positions that may have passed. How familiar are you with the Masked Lords?
Unfortunately, we have heard of them and known some who seek to join their ranks.
My spies indicate that they will be electing a new member soon. And while that shouldn't cause any issues, it is another wrench into the mix, as they say.
Are those the guys with the dragon masks?
No.
That's
it
different.
is-
Masked Lords of Waterdeep.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
This is all on the side.
Yes. No. Well, I'll explain it to you later.
What exactly is the Electoral College?
Yeah, no, I think I got it. We don't need to go into it.
You guys finish up, I guess, here?
Yeah.
As we
My
turn to
house.
leave, I gently turn and try and swat one of the little monsters on the table off so that Eon can catch it when we're leaving.
Make a sleight of hand check.
You haven't failed me yet this evening. First time for everything.
Oh no.
Total, Darryll.
5. But it wasn't
Natural one! As your hand goes to swipe it off the table, you misjudge where the figure is in relation to the side of the table, and you just slam the side of the table with your hand, causing the whole table to just over and like wobble as all the miniatures and stuff clatter on the ground, the map, and all three of them just stare directly at you.
Good quality table. That's just we're gonna go now.
Urto snaps his fingers. Sorry. But yes.
That's a
Eltro-
different person.
Different person. Eltro snaps his fingers, and all the miniatures magically lift up and rearrange themselves around the table as you all leave, and the doors close in behind you as discussion continues. And you walk for a little bit.
Makes you miss Scree, doesn't it?
Yes, I got far too cocky.
He had a particular set of skills.
It's quite the exit.
But, I reach in the bag, pull out, clunk.
Yeah. That's
a lot of platinum.
We'll divide this up later, but yes, it's roughly 2,000 apiece. So, drop it in.
very cool. So, should we discuss what we're going to ask the senior archivist? Because, I don't know, does everybody already have things they want to ask? Because I know I have lots, but I have to pick one.
I kind of figured
I know what I'm asking. I'm just
yes,
how best to phrase it.
I figured I'd ask something along the lines to try and see where this curse of yours stands.
There's nothing else that you would want to learn about?
At the moment, no. I already have an idea of who that soon-to-be masked lord will be. So, and everything back home is so far coming along. There's nothing else really pressing at the moment. Plus, it's probably better to ask 2 questions for yourself.
It would cover more bases, and...
Because now it's an invested interest for me. It's something that the scent just sticks in the back of my brain. It picks away.
Oh, well, that makes me feel uncomfortable, Ramsay.
Yes, well, I'm not the one who's dying from my blood curse.
Well, I mean, you don't know that. It's only one way to
Fair
find
point. Fair point, I guess. On the same hand, it's nice to have someone else of a certain intellectual level around, so...
Well, I would appreciate you using your question for my gain. We can figure out a good way to phrase this. I'd have the feeling that the senior archivist may be very literal with whatever questions we ask.
Me and ADB direct and to the point. What are you guys considering?
Well, I mean, I was thinking, like, I need to ask where the tombs of Lithotyda might be.
The other 2.
Yeah, because
Yes.
I have 2 more whole tombs to find. I have the slightest clue where to start. They could be anywhere. The Meteor Knight. I don't know hardly anything about him. So I don't know. I could just ask about his background, who he is, why he exists.
Why he's so interested in you.
Why he's so interested in me. I could ask about my armor.
Well,
Like, how do I make the best use of this? Because, like, I feel like there's, like, some unlocked potential in it. But I don't know how to do that either.
true. These are all very valid questions.
And last of all, we've been packing around this dragon mask everywhere we go.
Yes.
And I feel like we need to figure out what we're doing with that thing.
Oh my, there's another thing that I kept from you all that
What?
I just remembered. Oh, terribly sorry. When I had the dragon mask, the first time that we picked it up, it spoke to me.
I immediately put my hand down in the bag and just feel for it in there.
You feel the cold touch of scale and bone and shape.
Just as Elias is talking, as soon as they mention it, I reach in to just
It's there.
feel around for it.
It didn't say much. It just said to, well, if I wanted to learn more, to speak with it. And well, you took it. I wasn't really that interested.
Well,
It seemed quite cursed.
Oh, it is very, very cursed.
I think any magic item that talks to you, well, I don't want any of that.
Some of them can be fun. I'll say that. But no,
A lot
this
has happened since then, so it's left my mind.
This one in particular is, yes, very cursed, but it's also a key, like I said before. It's one of 5, and it is to open the door to release Tiamat.
Right, but isn't that a bad thing?
Yes, it most certainly is, but I would rather be, and no one knows except for one person, thing, icky poo creature, that we have it. And Nor didn't seem too concerned that we got it.
Yeah, that's a little bit frightening.
Right. That
Yes.
seems like a bad thing too.
I would feel safer with it in our possession, and we speak not of it to anyone unless we can trust them and know we will gain more information about it. than it's being left somewhere that is supposedly safe. Well, we all saw what happened at the Blackstaff Tower. All the safe things were removed.
That's kind of my worry, is I don't know if there's anywhere that's safe.
Pocket dimension.
But bags of holding can be destroyed, can't they?
And Vajra's vault was a pocket dimension. And
True.
look at where that led.
A vault is somewhere where you know something valuable is being held. This just looks like a bag. If you would like, we can find somewhere else to store it, but I am not keen on the idea of it being out of our possession.
So anyway, that was something I figured we should ask about. I don't know exactly what, but like... I don't know. Anyway.
For yourself.
Well, there's someone I'd like to find, but I don't think this is the right place to ask that question. I'd like to know more about the Everlove, and I'd like to know more about Elias's very interesting blood, and I'd like to know...
Oh, you'll use a question for me too? You're also kind.
Think about it. I'd also like to know about the Fahrenheit and all of that, because I also am wondering whether we should look into that a bit and see if we can tap into that to help you out. Feel like having some god power on our side might be a good idea if we're going to keep fighting these dragons.
Wouldn't hurt.
So, it could be interesting.
Quick review, DM.
Yes.
Fahrenheit. So there's Lythatida, split into two. Fahrenheit was the other.
Yes.
Is Fahrenheit, the Meteor Knight seems to be in league or working for Fahrenheit or something like that.
Seems to be some sort of connection.
Some kind of
between the
connection.
two.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Just wanted to quickly review that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or find this, I don't know, Lythatida is chained up somewhere, or the Fahrenheit is, or something. Or I don't know exactly what it is, but it sounds like maybe they need to like have a reunion or something.
Yeah.
Well, and wasn't it the Everlove that...
Right, that did that originally. But how do you encapsulate all of that in a question?
How do we Lythatida?
I want to know if the Everlove had a different name ever.
That's a splendid question, actually. That would help us any more research with. You mentioned you would want to look for somebody. Who?
Oh. Little green tiefling girl.
Oh.
I hope she's okay.
Well, why not just send your winged rat to find her?
I never really thought about that, but I wouldn't even know where to begin. He could fly all over the entire continent and never find her.
I fail to see the issue.
I like Lash. Kind of just hangs out there.
He's around.
Just like does good work. Stays quiet till I ask him to not, and yeah, he's a good guy. He's a good guy, Ramsey. Stinks a little for you, I know.
Well, I don't think it would be impossible to ask more than one question.
Have you seen Lash?
I don't know.
You said you have no idea.
I'm just like, what the fuck is this guy anyway?
Yeah.
You guys have seen Lash.
Boy, it's been so long, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Scree
I think we know about at least.
No,
Scree
I
has.
have seen.
I've just
Okay.
know when they're around.
He's popped up before.
You know, I was just thinking, like, I could try ascending to that little wee tiefling, because I can send ascending to someone who even is just described to me. So maybe we could start there. No, that's
great.
Message.
Oh,
Ascending
sorry.
is this one.
Ah, yes, yes, sorry. I get so many of your spells confused. It's how do you keep it all in your brain?
Well, they have very intricate hand gestures.
I've noticed. Like this one's the helpy one. This one's apparently the little talky one, and this one's the big talky one.
Precisely.
I'd say you're not exactly familiar with this creature.
Well, it only says, I mean, just reading the description. To a creature you have met or a creature described to you by someone who has met it. So, I don't
okay,
know.
so I guess that
your
makes
call.
sense.
Your call.
That's a new edition description.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Do you want to roll?
Yeah.
We could try. I honestly don't even know. If she was in Waterdeep, she might be dead. I have no idea.
Did it look like she was when you saw her?
She looked like she was in a place kind of similar to where I grew up. So I don't know if that was in Waterdeep, but she didn't look like she had anyone looking out for her. So I was just kind of curious about how she was doing.
I don't want to seem insulting or trying to be mean when I say this, but I thought you hated children.
Kind of do.
Like it's.
This one was different.
I understand that you've
Yeah.
grown a bond with your
Ew, no.
imaginary.
No. She just like was very mature for her age. I don't know. She
I
like respected me and stuff and wanted to learn things and whatever. Anyway, if you want to try and find her, that would be kind of cool.
It's worth an effort.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you want to do that? Is this
Yeah,
is this a
absolutely.
place? Do you need
Your-
something special?
Your
Do you need
goals matter to me as well. I mean, do you want to try that right now? Do you want to try that at the end of the day?
Well, that's what I'm asking. It's like if you're kind of just out in the open here.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe now's not the best time, but like that would be a great like end of day activity.
I'd say at this point you guys now are at the conclave of Silvery Moon. So you have, I'll say, walk through wherever you need to be and now find yourselves kind of in front of the main library here. You've been once before.
Yeah. Well, we can try that later. It's probably silly anyway. She's probably just dead or fake or not.
Well,
Figment of my
I
imagination.
think it's something we tried this evening. I think it's worthwhile if you think it's important.
And well, what's the worst that can happen? Zola doesn't get a response?
Wouldn't be the first time.
I guess
Cool.
then we'd know that she was dead.
Or she just was
It can mean other things too.
scared that a voice randomly popped into your head.
Right.
It's not the most settling thing when this happens.
So, let's revisit it.
Yes,
Later.
Well, who's got that lovely little piece of paper with the signature on it?
Solo walks up to the desk and goes bing on the desk bell.
Oh my goodness! You see an elf with like these kind of large spectacles that they have like down at the below the bridge of their nose as they're looking at this book, and they have like a nice little cup of tea that they spill a little bit on themselves. It's like, oh my gosh!
Hi, hey, hello. So sorry to interrupt. It's just when I see a bell, I have to.
I'm right here. You don't need to ring it. It's only to get my
It's
attention.
right there. Anyway, we have this.
He kind of like puts the glasses up and looks real close.
Order
Ah.
of King Melandrach himself.
I see.
Plus, like, lots of other questions to ask the like regular librarians, too, free of charge.
All right. I suppose this is of great import for the king to send you this. I will get our staff and librarians in the meeting room, and he points a little bit further in where you can see there's kind of like a side offshoot, kind of boardroom looking room. He goes, all right. guess I won't be reorganizing the upper floors today. And you see him get up and close his book with a before he walks off. And you see the scurry of very long-robed elves, all of them looking very, very fancy, looking very studious, academic even, scholarly, potentially.
Wow.
With their big hats and their...
Big hats.
Yeah.
Wow.
Their hydro flasks.
I recognize those hats. Those are scholar hats.
I always thought they were a little pretentious. They're like, oh, look at me, I'm so smart with my scholarly hat.
Right.
Are you wearing one? That would be really great.
We
if
all
you're
turn
wearing
around. Just like, what?
There's a picture of Elias in somewhere with a hat on.
Some like off-brand shitty hat.
Love it.
Oh.
But within a few minutes here, you guys get a kind of gaggle of librarians looking through and kind of at your disposal. So what do you want to ask for the Vault of the Sages? So this would be information that Silvery Moon specifically is privy to.
But this is not our super special.
No. That's at the lower floors, and it is assumed that you're not quite wanting to go there yet.
So we should almost just ask all of our questions here, and whatever we feel like we don't get a sufficient enough answer to, then we can take that question again to the senior.
There is a time portion of this. Depending on the complexity of the question, I will be rolling for the scholars to see how much time it takes them to investigate and to find the information you're looking for, if it is possible. So that's also something to take into consideration here. Gonna be little rolls. Who wants to go first? Eon.
I would like to know if there are examples through history of souls being split.
Okay. I will say, because this is very general, I say you get a lot of information.
Your stack is this big.
Oh my god.
Luckily, though, it doesn't take them too long to get it together. I say that one is like about half an hour. They get like a full expansive list. Most of these occurrences are within the time of Trouble's context, where gods were walking the material plane, either in their actual forms or in some sort of combination with a human or other creature to hold on to their godliness.
I didn't expect this to be so common.
Yeah. Well, were you looking for something specific, like a specific soul who had been split, or?
I don't know, I just wanted to know if this is a thing. Is this a thing?
Yeah, I'd say it's rare. Like, it doesn't happen very often. Like, you need kind of god level powers, but when the gods were on the plane, there is records of a long lost city where one of these entities in a battle kind of let loose an attack that severed every soul from its body in the city. All citizens gone, and all those souls it just consumed to fight and power itself up against another god. But there isn't as much information. There's just kind of like vagueness around this of like survivors around the city that weren't exactly in it. But even that is kind of lost to time here.
Wow. Okay. I'll just read some of these stories, I guess.
Yeah. It's definitely getting like, this is like a god thing to do. This is not something humans have the ability to. It's something you need a lot of power to separate soul from a body.
Sure. Okay.
Ramsey.
I would like the earliest reference of any type of blood curse relating to the Mendelith family line.
Okay. That one is pretty easy as well. Another half an hour, pretty easy. They find deeper in the records someone in your family line, Elias, was a little more influential than the typical Mendelith, and had paid for a scholarly investigation into the curse, which you can find detailed in a report in front of you. Elias, this thing has what you imagine is your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather's name.
Oh boy.
His name is Averdos.
Oh wow. First time I'm hearing about him.
Well, if you'd like, I can ask more when I get in with the librarian.
The contents of the report, as you pick them up, are light. You immediately recognize that this is more of a pamphlet than a report. You can see that there's essentially no documented information found on this curse.
Well, paid all that money for nothing.
But you didn't.
And I didn't. I just did it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically I did, but that's fine. Yes.
Nice.
So your question is similar to mine. I was gonna ask for like genealogical records of, I guess, less so specifically first encounter of the curse, but if there's like obituaries or like records of how like
Autopsies.
people, like how the curse affected them.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely obituary records going back very far here. Not something you've really ever seen, but it's kind of unsettling to you as you scroll through pages and pages of black veins, symbols appearing on skin. Black veins, bled to death, coughed up lung, massive hernia of brain. It just continues.
Do I see anything specific about like the different kinds of symbols?
Make an investigation check.
That is a 21.
Okay, a 21. I'll say with a 21, not every obituary has these symbols on them.
Okay.
Only some of them. And each symbol seems to be different.
Interesting.
First one you recognize, there is a star. The second one, what seems to be these waves. And the third one, a line with another line through it, like a plus sign.
And those are like the only symbols that seem to appear
Yeah.
in the records.
I'd say those are the three you notice, and there wouldn't be too many other recorded. None that you find here.
Do you have symbols on you, or is it just veiny?
It's just the
Are you
veins.
just veiny?
I'm just veiny.
You're just veiny.
Yeah.
varicose?
Well, the first time I've seen of these symbols was with Casper. So they have the star. And it seems that there's other symbols that have been recorded too.
As that's like pretty regular information, they just
Yeah.
pass you the obituary and let you sift through it.
Yeah.
So that takes no time.
Okay, yeah.
You guys are only at an hour. Pretty nice. Solo.
Okay. I would like to ask for information on the Valkyries of Lythertida. their gear they wore, specifically their armor, and also their final resting places.
Okay.
We know of the one already, so I detail quickly this one in Two Hills we found. But there are two more that I don't know where they exist, and I'd be specifically looking for information on those.
Okay. That one they're gonna have to roll for. Okay. This takes significantly longer. Sola.
Sorry, everybody.
I imagine Sola has like an army of librarians.
Yeah. They go, the Valkyries of what?
Well, I mean, it's just the Valkyries of like the Tidal.
Yeah. They take 2 hours looking through stuff here. And
Good thing we got here early.
the Valkyries of Lyther Tida, they have some information on. Specifically, the type of armor. They describe heavy metallic plate ordained with golden energy and wings coming out of the back. Seems to be their main type of armor.
And is there information on how they get the best use out of it? Some seem to be better at using it than others, you know?
Yes. Yeah, it seems there are many different kind of individual tales that kind of sift through of what would be these children of light and their different ways of progressing their powers. The first one you can see is kind of following the main tenets of Lyther Tida, healing, protecting, reviving. And then, well, it doesn't say outright, it does kind of allude that the most powerful of these warriors were these Valkyries, for sure. That they were able to get the most out of these abilities.
Okay. And any information about the locations of those tombs here?
Unfortunately not from these scholars. That seems to be a little bit out of their range of knowledge. Right. It has currently been 3 hours since you guys have gotten to the library. They wheel out some snacks and refreshments as well from the local bakeries next door and the coffee shops across the street, kind of bringing this nice smell.
Sorry, as my person came back and
Yes.
fed through things, I kind of flagged them down again off to the side.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you were such a great help with this. I'm wondering if you can help me with something else.
Please, whatever I can help with. Yes.
Would you happen to have anything on, say, a blood curse, a lycanthropy blood curse that traveled through the Phylan family?
Through the Phylan family?
Yes.
I can certainly take a look for you.
That'd be wonderful if you could, please.
All right. He's gonna take a look. He does find some information. Silvery Moon specifically, the Phylan household has ties here back in the early days. Many of the Phylans, there was kind of a house set up here. And the Phylans who lived here operated kind of around the borders of the Feywild. They were the ones kind of ensuring there wasn't a lot of crossing over, and that the things that did cross over were handled before they became a problem. But it does appear that the house is no longer active in Silvery Moon, and hasn't been in a very long time. The last known location of these individuals being the Moonwoods which you guys would know as being northeast of Silvery Moon. Whereas Lurkwoods is kind of northwest.
Sorry, you said it was which direction?
Northeast, yeah. So you can imagine
Yeah.
Lurkwoods kind of around here. Moonwoods around here. Or sorry, reversed. Yeah, Lurkwoods are where Cholth was, and then Moonwoods be around there. Give or take. That takes about an hour.
Splendid. And nothing else about, like, the beginning of the curse or...
No. Actually, can you make a... Just make a straight investigation check. I want to see something real quick. Because it was specifically what you asked.
Hunter's Bane, Faith Eaten, or Undead?
I'll give it to you, sure. That's
Okay.
technically a little... No, but whatever.
19.
19? Okay. I would say, like, you look at this, and, like, it has a lot of history of the Filings, because after this while this Silvery Moon House was set up, the Waterdeep House was set up as well. And it is after the Silvery Moon House was destroyed that the Waterdeep House became a little bit more inclusive. And started to take on more monster hunter types of contracts instead of ones where they were required to be around people, such as trade security or that kind of thing.
Stop the Guardian role and more.
Correct. Or the border security role just started killing things. But that's about all you get from that.
Okay.
Who's next? Ian?
Do they have anything here in the realm of, like, mechanical engineering?
Less so.
Alright. What about magical animation?
Yes.
Can I ask to see something? They have something slightly groundbreaking, like maybe some kind of dissertation or something. Now I'm just kind of curious about what the academics think is the groundbreaking research on animating.
On animating things?
Yeah.
Okay. All the scholars just kind of like look to each other and go, we could send a grant. And they just kind of go, are you sure? And go, and within a little bit you see a very, very tired and sad looking graduate student.
And I can just tell they're a graduate student because they're tired.
Oh yeah.
They just look like it.
Yeah. They're dressed a little too nice. They look a little too upset. And they look very just stressed.
Yeah, fully immersed here.
Hi, you called for me?
Sure. I was expecting a book, I guess. Do you research animation?
Oh, yeah, I do. And you can see he's got like a large satchel where there's like multiple book components in. You can see he's got like 3 different notebooks. Like you see 2 different reference books and like one where he's just got like a bunch of different like mind mappy stuff where he's drawn out ideas.
Nice.
Yeah. He goes, what can I help you with? What would you like to know?
You don't need to repeat this entire thing. But, I was just thinking, I would really like to understand better, like, how that works. Because, so, I can animate some things. But I kind of just do it. I don't really know how I do it. I don't really do it. It's got weird lately. I don't know. I thought it would just be interesting to see what people have to say about it. That's all.
Okay. He kind of goes a little bit into his, he starts like with the beginning of like very intro just to like check to see where you're at. In the way of like, Okay, so like, what part of animating do you not? You just. That's kind of the whole thing. But he kind of takes a look at your spiders, and I think you have like a good conversation just like on how they all work. You get the idea that like your ability to power the spiders is your magic. How that works for you is different for other people. But that just kind of finds itself in artificery. You find ways to power your inventions and you keep it going. You find blood as your main power source.
I don't tell him that.
No, but he kind of like looks at the spider, the red liquid going through the little tubes in and out of it, and he goes, "You seem to be pretty good at animating already."
Oh, thanks. I'd like to make bigger ones.
Oh.
Yeah, having some problems with the coolants. Anyways, I'll go off.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. That takes an hour, unfortunately, but that's kind of a side thing. Let's go around to Elias now. So that doesn't count to the time.
That's very fair.
It doesn't count because it's not.
Because you made a graduate student do it. That's not
that's
not a real scholar. They don't have a degree.
Wow, big shots.
They don't have the one that matters.
Is this like part of his office hours? This is TA time.
No, he's not getting paid for this. Elias.
Why is this so rude?
I'm wondering if there's any records on the god Hermejos.
No.
I'll take anything.
They take an hour.
Okay.
And Hermejos, they look into the name a little bit, as that seems to be the most telling part of this entity. There are tellings of kind of what Hermejos was representative of life force, of health, but also of war. Hermejos was the god of continuing through hardship, through strength. Long since, we'll say, defunct out of the pantheon. They have not been around since the time of troubles.
Is there any records on why that's the case?
The main scholarly assumption is that Hermejos either was not powerful enough to stay alive and fell to some god who absorbed him, and thus deleted everyone's memory of Hermejos, or the god realized that they needed to escape somewhere and did so, which is not exactly unheard of in this capacity. The scholars kind of tell you of the thing of gods can come in and out of the planes, and how they do so can be a little different from each one. Hermejos seems to have pretty much all or nothing disappeared, where some gods still leave bits and pieces of themselves. No one has noticed or felt anything from a symbol of Hermejos in quite a while.
Intriguing.
Right? Sola.
I would like to look into records of a man who goes by the name of the Meteor Knight.
Okay.
Perhaps having some relation or as a follower of a god named Ferentide.
Okay. Alright, the first part of this question, they are able to assist you with very easily. You get the idea that a lot of these scholars, they kind of like, as they hear your question, they go, yeah. And as a lot of them are on this, and you get the idea as they start to bring in immediately their resources and their investigations into who this character is, what their powers are, what is happening, and why. So that part doesn't take very long. When you mentioned Fahrenheit, however, that kind of throws them for a little bit of a loop. They're not quite sure what you mean by that.
Because perhaps nobody has heard of them before. Would it help if I explain some more?
You can try. I would say I need you to make I need you to make a check for it.
Mm-hmm.
For chance persuasion, unless it can be argued a different one.
I would argue for religion.
Okay. Yeah. You know what?
It's religion based.
I'll say if you can, if you tie it to religion, make a religion check. That's
Sure.
cool. I like that. Sure.
Cool. Can I guide myself while I do this?
Sure.
You can do this, Sola. Make them understand. This one is cocked. Oh, shit. I'm an inspiration.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
Yeah.
Loren doesn't use these often.
Still not great, but better than it was.
Yeah.
That takes me to 16.
16. Okay. With a 16, I would say with a 16, you start to get them thinking about it. With a religion check, you point out on the, we'll say, pictures or the recreations of the murals they have, and you start to point out their inconsistencies. In the same way that someone who knows the scripture of Lyther in and out,
Right.
and is like, well, but why are they talking about the darkness and when there's 7 dark figures here? Would that be plural? And this starts to like kind of grow the conversation. So like there's some discussion there, but it takes a little bit of time, and they can't really find too much.
Okay.
But it is something they're starting to look into.
Okay.
So I'm going to say that's going to take an hour.
Okay.
When it comes to the individual known as the Meteor Knight, they have more to share. The Meteor Knight first showed up 10 years ago. Relatively soon. And was known to lead the group known as the Tempest, which was a collection of mercenaries who were able to take on kind of a lot of different tasks with high chances of them dying. It's a high risk kind of group, which is what they got their, we'll say, regalia from. The Meteor Knight specifically, as you all know, is described as a 4'8" humanoid creature with a deeper voice who wears full metallic armor in blacks and grays and silver, and does not show his face. They also seem to look into the recent history of the Meteor Knight. They don't have an identity for this individual. However, they have recorded that the Tempest has been working within the dynasty of Che. They have people scrying, and when they had the ability to, unfortunately they no longer can, they were able to kind of identify the location as working with Itche. The Meteor Knight is the leader of Tempest and known as the strongest member. They've, as I was saying before, they've cataloged some of his abilities. It would appear gravitational powers to some degree are within his capacity. As well as extremely tough armor that allowed for his assault in the city that you all saw. A meteor striking from the sky.
So that's what that was.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They've started to piece together the Cholth connections as well, as you kind of talk about what you guys have experienced as they're getting some of this information, whatever you choose to share.
Yeah, I mean, I would tell them everything I knew.
Absolutely. So with that in mind, they start connecting. Yeah, there's definitely would appear like Cholth and the Meteor Knight were involved in some capacity. They take your note and I'm kind of like, oh, like we gotta record this. There's 2 dragons. It was like a big shock to him. You can see one scholar just like using a fan on his head. You can see the steam coming out of his ears. Like he's just dead.
Cool. So, this is all very interesting, but I'm afraid your research has a hole in it.
What?
Because there's one question that is yet unanswered.
That would be?
He's called the Meteor Knight. But meteor then what?
I knew this was coming.
You get a few chuckles. They appreciate a good pun, but they don't
Why?
respond.
I'm sorry,
Why
but
are they laughing?
so it's not meteor, it's a meteor, like the thing that falls out of the heavens.
Oh, I
No,
thought
not-
of that like a comet.
No. Yes, like a comet, but
Right, meteor means some meteor than something.
no, meteor. That's his actual name is the Meteor Knight. It's just people are there.
Right, meteor then what?
No, meteor or O-R, not E-R.
Let's talk about it later.
Yes.
Anyway,
So I've seen his face before.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you have.
I have one more thing that I could add to your collection of knowledge.
Then on.
I have, as a sorcerer, I have the cantrip Minor Illusion.
Oh, sweet. Okay,
shit.
awesome.
And so I'm going to Minor Illusion image of his face.
Okay. The scribes, you can see fervently writing down the features. You can see them like calling people in, like to get direct drawings of this so that they can pass it along to see if they can get any information on this person. But yeah, so you feel like you do a good job with that.
If nothing else, maybe we can make some like wanted posters or something.
Okay. After this question, there's about 2 hours left in the working day with the library here. I'll say you can kind of choose to push the scholars a little bit further, but they'll be rolling worse. Or afterwards, you can kind of choose to go down. The lower levels with the senior archivist are open in the night for you guys. It doesn't appear that time matters so much for this. Eon.
How about a summary of all of the known dragon types and their abilities and weaknesses?
Okay, sure.
Sure, that's a nice idea. We're
Your
gonna
book
need
stack
that.
went from this to that.
That's actually really cool.
There's
I love
gotta be intro to dragons.
that. Cool. Eon, can you make an investigation check for me?
Sure can. Dirty 20.
Nice.
Perfect. Love it, love it. All right. I will say, as everyone is kind of given this presentation on dragon information, now here's the question. How long do you want this to be? Because the benefit will be greater if it is longer. Or you could make it shorter and ask another question.
Does anyone have any other questions left?
Not for them.
Not for them.
So,
And I feel like
let's
it
get
would
the
be
full
very
benefit.
helpful to know, like,
Wouldn't hurt.
to just study up, because we're gonna.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we would use the remaining 2 hours and then see how much we feel like we know.
Alrighty. Okay, can I get everybody to roll investigation checks?
Can I
I'm
guide
using,
someone else?
I'm using your dirty 20 for your account, but
Oh, okay.
you can, yes. So.
You're pretty smart, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Guide Elias.
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
My
I'll
message
also
is
like
okay.
investigate by looking over his shoulder.
Copying notes.
Copying notes, yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh.
Maybe I
I'll
should
take
go.
that.
That's good.
Dirty 20. Ramsey.
The 23.
Awesome. Elias?
27.
So
Heck yeah. Elias's notes are so good that I rolled an 18 -1.
you got exactly -10 of his.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
So
So
holds
here's
the book really good.
here's what I'm gonna do for you guys. Any checks regarding knowledge on dragons, I'm giving you guys a static bonus because of this. So if you try to gain any information on dragons, whether it be history, arcana, or whatever, to know about dragons, you have a +2 to that roll
Oh, going forward.
going forward.
Ooh.
I mean, that's nice.
Cool.
You have a +2 knowledge on dragons.
All of us.
All of you.
Nice. I think that'll be really
Wow,
handy.
That's
Yeah,
Because
amazing.
the next time we run into some dragon, we can be like, look, I saw a flash of white.
Yeah.
So,
What could that
yeah.
mean?
So not to, I won't go through the specifics, but what this will mean is like, you guys know the very basics.
Yeah.
Fire dragons are not going to be,
Yeah.
you're not going to use fire on them. Essentially, basically, whatever color it is, they're immune to it. They don't have a lot of vulnerabilities. And many dragons are spellcasters, who now, I will say, use spells on their legendary actions. So dragons are known for spellcasting and fire breathing and attacking all within a fervorous 6-second span.
That's
crazy.
Do is get the
Yeah.
eye of the beholder.
Oh, yeah.
Strap it to someone's chest. Here, just go. Go.
I used to have the eye of a beholder.
Oh.
Yeah, a long
Did
time
we?
ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. I think it was disintegrated.
I think it was. Yep.
Poop.
Well,
Right.
oh, and also iris. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure this is a beholder eye.
The one that stalks, yeah.
Yeah.
You just took it from a stalk.
There is one piece of information I want to clarify for you, Ramsey, is that while there are metallic, chromatic, and you guys hear of gem dragons, who are a little bit more reclusive and less alignment defined, we'll say. Ramsey, you hear about purple dragons being the spawn of a blue and red, but very rare. And in recorded history, purple dragons have been killed off very quickly before they've grown larger or they've become continent rulers. There's kind of that. Those are kind of the two options that people find with purple dragons. Okay. At this moment, it's the end of the day, and scholars begin to pack up their things and organize their notes for the next day, talking with each other and exchanging some of their ideas before the day ends, and clarifying a few things with each of you while they have you here. There's some questions on Chulf, some questions on the Meteor Knight and what you've experienced, and a lot of questions about Nor. A lot of questions about Nor, as he seems to be one of the most primary things the Waterdeep Council is looking into right now, and possibly the next thing you guys will be looking at as well. So,
Was it Neo? Did they ask an exceedingly large amount of questions about our rather gooey friend?
Well, he's an interesting guy, and he's pretty relevant.
Well, yes, it's very much so. I just thought they would possibly know more. Which tells me maybe they haven't been a player in this game for as long as we've thought.
Maybe he's kind of new on the scene
Yes.
of bad guyage.
I'll say specifically they're curious because of his powers to summon.
To summon?
Things, yes.
Like undead dragons, essentially.
Undead, dragons, anything that you guys fought. There's a few different creatures that spawned out of him. And any connections to Basilweb, they are very, very closely looking at. But you get the idea that there's just a lot of questions here.
So, the Meteor Knight leads the Tempest, which is in cahoots with Rhaenyra's family, which is now working with the dragons.
No, with Nor. I think the dragons are...
Nor is part of Tempest.
No, Nor, yeah, so there we go. Nor's part of the Tempest. So that means your friend is actually Nor's boss.
Because he's the main one.
Right, because they were saying he was the leader.
So your Meteor Knight is
Whoa.
Even more...
Nor.
Oh, and I thought Nor was bad already.
But Nor is cruel.
Nor is something else altogether. More than just cruel. They are self-driven with their own motives, it seems.
But the Meteor Knight is connected to, like, the Meteor Knight is like the yin to your yang almost, because of the connection to the Fahrenheit, and you're the...
Do you remember anything else from them from school?
Did you go to school together?
With the Meteor Knight?
Yeah.
No.
Why did
I
you...
thought... But wasn't there an accident?
There was...
Well, there was.
Or was that just...
But that wasn't caused. I mean, if it was caused by the Meteor Knight, I didn't know.
How long ago was that accident?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Timeline
Like,
wise,
how old is
Soul's
Sola?
not very
Solo's not that old.
old.
No. I'd say like within the last couple of years,
Yeah.
Oh.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
I think it's
something
appropriate.
Like that.
Yeah.
So there's definitely records of the Meteor Knight before that incident.
And they've only been around for 10 years, so...
And remind me what happened with the...
Well, I was going to school, and on my way there was a new bell tower that had been built, and something, I think it was still being built, and during construction the bell fell, came loose of its moorings, and was hurtling down towards a crowd of people, and I was the only one who seemed to notice, and I did something with my light to stop it. I sent a bell in the opposite direction, crashed into it, and destroyed it. Yeah.
the Meteor Knight wasn't there?
Well, if he was, I didn't see him, but I also didn't know to look for him at the time, so who knows?
I thought he was there.
I thought he blamed you.
He had a dream. Right? Where the Meteor Knight was there and was watching.
Right. That's
And
right,
he-
I had a dream.
And he said something along the lines of like, so this is how this happened to you.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So which means they might have been watching you.
Yeah.
It means they found out what happened in that dream. It does not mean they were
Right.
there.
That he was
Okay.
there. That's right. Okay, yeah. That's right. Because he was seeing it for the first time.
And was
In
like,
that
whoa,
dream.
that's crazy.
Damn.
Not to paraphrase or anything.
Well, it's very interesting.
Yeah, but the revelation that the Meteor Knight is essentially in league with the Tempest as well, and that my backstory is in fact related to Rhaenyra's, boy, that is something we're going to need to bring Rhaenyra up to speed on in a couple of weeks, because Rhaenyra might not remember that.
I do forget very often. Yes.
She just doesn't care that.
I swing my axe, they die. It's not very complicated.
Fair.
Bring out a goose every once in a while. Yeah, that is crazy. That is very, very crazy. And I'm just trying to figure out, how does Beelzebub fit in, and what's the deal with the dragons, and why do
Well,
the dragons
it's-
care? Why are the dragons rushing to be in league apparently with the Tempest and or Nor and or the Meteor Knight? Dragons are powerful themselves.
The dragons, Beelzebub, the Ferentide, the Meteor Knight, they're all connected. Beelzebub is a demon prince of the hells. Asmodeus, who is also a demon, the demon prince of the hells, the king of the hells,
He's the one that's got
is the one who tricked your god into splitting Lythatida into Ferentide and Lythatida. Tiamat is also one of the rulers of the hells. The way I look at it is there's a rather large bottle below us, and multiple entities are fighting to blow the cork off of it.
That's crazy.
You guys see, like, the scholars have kind of cleaned up and have left, but for the most part, the library is still having like a few people around. You can see the familiar blue-white cloaks that kind of cover the faces of people as they come and go. As you're having this discussion and finishing up, we'll say another half an hour passes or so, an hour passes, but the sun is still just barely in the sky, starting to get to sunrise.
Well, before we take our turns to speak with this senior librarian, what is it else you would like to know?
Well, I feel I've gotten everything that I can on my curse from the sages.
Well, you never know. This one seems to be more learned of them.
Maybe you could be more direct.
Yes.
How do I break it?
Yes.
Oh, well,
Or who initiated it? Why does it kill only your bloodline?
it's worth a shot, but I feel like I'm not going to get anything out of that.
Well, you'll get nothing if you don't. For sure.
I suppose I was just thinking this was more a question for the archivist, but...
That's
if
who.
no
No,
one
sorry,
else-
I'm sorry. That's who I'm speaking
Oh,
of. Sorry.
I thought you meant
Sorry,
the sages.
No, not the peons.
I don't think they would know anything.
The peons have all gone. We're talking the big cheese
Yes,
here.
the big one. Yes.
Yes.
Well, that's the question. I mean, I have.
The peons are
So
headed back
many.
to the pee-pee place.
As you guys are conversing, there's like a few different candlelights that are being lit among the library. as light starts to fade. And you see a small group of people walking through the library. Looks like 5 or 6 individuals with the blue and white cloaked hoods of the scholars. You can see they kind of like look around as they're kind of walking in, but then they start to look in your direction and walk over. One of the scholars from your group, who's just kind of like making notes, Grant, the graduate student, just said, there's nothing for me at home anyway. So at least it's warmer here.
Is this what you went through?
Well, not so bad as that.
Because he looks absolutely dreadfully miserable.
They've
Yes.
really cut funding since you've been gone.
Oh gosh.
You know what? I have something for you here. And Sola hands him a drink.
Oh.
Oh,
Huh.
Yeah. This is called a blue cow.
delicious.
You might have heard of it in other towns. It goes by a different name called Red Bull. Anyway, this is
Take an inspiration.
Well,
Where's this
I'll say as you pass this to Grant, the small group of 5 or 6 scholars is walking into the boardroom. One of them kind of like looks over and stops beside Grant, who kind of like looks up and goes, "Oh, can I help you?" Ramsey, you're the first to smell blood. As the hood on this scholar comes back.
reach back with the whip and just lash out at him.
As every one of you see this group of scholars, each one with markings on their face, claws, tails, draconic in nature, a few of them scaled. As one of them, standing behind Sola, takes a weapon out and thrusts it forward. And that's where we're going to pick it up for
Motherfucker.
next week.
Can I aim at that one?
No, you're trying to save Grant.
Oh.
But on the positive side, Sola, guess what?
Hi.
You aren't surprised, technically, because of your passive perception. So we will have to roll initiative on this to see if you
In
get out
the
of the way.
library! In the library!
Dun,
with the candlestick.
You're on fire tonight. Let's go.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
amazing. Awesome.
Dr. Sola.
As this group comes into this
These
boardroom,
fucking guys again.
you hear the screams out, "For the cult of the dragon!" before roars ensue. And thank you all for joining us. That's going to be the end for us again. Lovely, lovely night. I love dropping things.
Oh.
Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for joining us. And hi, hey, hello.
Hi, hey, hello!
Oh, gotta reset the days since combat counter.
We were almost through a full day without some combat. So he's got to spend
like-
some spell slots here.
Well, I was just kind of like, cool.
Never.
We're gonna go talk to the guy. We're gonna have a nice eat. Well,
So-
fuck that shit.
We didn't get enough talking?
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
What was that about leveling up?
Yeah.
What?
Level 12, everybody. We're here.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we get that before we go into this combat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was he had said that, so I was looking it up.
Where? When?
Janelle earlier. Janelle.
Oh.
Well, because I'm looking through this, because I'm like, oh, well, what am I gonna? I'm gonna take a feat probably. So I'm like, what feat can I like ask something
right.
about to make sense for the feat that I'm gonna take? So I was like trying to look through stuff as I was.
That's funny.
I didn't come up with anything.
Yeah, so we're now level 12, guys.
Shit.
You get like
Wow.
you
Number
get
12.
Cool.
+2 to your or +1 to your con.